I'm going to put my questions again. Sorry. Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Godly Giggles with Steve and Mo, where we show you that you can serve Jesus and still have a fun-filled life. So today we have our very first guest on the podcast, and we have Avery, and she's my best friend. You've probably heard me talk about her a lot. We've known each other a very, very long time.
Like how long?
Your whole life.
Like your whole life?
Almost. No.
For real?
I mean, I didn't move here till I was like 7.
Yeah, so I think it was like
Okay.
first
it's been
grade.
10 years.
There went the whole life thing right there. That didn't. Well, a decade. That's a long time.
I mean,
Okay,
that's the
yes.
majority of the life that I can remember.
Okay, that you can remember. This
Yeah.
is true. This is good.
And so we're going to talk to her about serving and what she has done. And yeah, she's really excited.
Yeah,
Aren't you?
she's really
Yeah.
excited. No, she is a little nervous, but we're gonna we're about to bring her all in. She's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with the first question, and can you just tell us what opportunities have you had to serve people, to serve either your church body, people in your community, or even people around the world? Can you tell me some things?
Mm-hmm. So I've been going to Guatemala for many, many years, and also
Your whole life?
no, not my whole
Okay.
life.
Because y'all know each other your whole life.
No, just for let's see, I started going when I was 9, and so
Wait, how old are you?
17.
17. Okay.
Since you were
So
9, that's crazy.
So I've been going for 8 years, and
That's
then
awesome.
now I'm also going to El Salvador, all these places. I would say recently, now that I'm older and can actually go places,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the youth group, we've been to Camp Barnabas and served
Yes.
there. We went to Operation Christmas Child last night.
Yes. We got home at 2 a.m., by the way.
We did.
But it was worth it. We
was
hit
very
the
worth
milestone of over 1 million boxes packed
Wasn't
in
it
Atlanta.
amazing?
Was
Yes.
so awesome. And just last night, I don't know if y'all got this, it was 110,000. Just yesterday.
Just last night.
Yesterday, total. We were there for 4 hours, but the whole day was 110,000.
That was crazy.
Boxes were packed and ready to go, and it was so cool because we did a little clip of it. Sorry, we're gonna get back to your thing in just 1 second. But you opened up another opportunity to talk about serving. They were going to the Dominican Republic of Congo,
Yes.
and
Last night?
It was
Yes,
Molly.
last night.
Molly.
Molly. It was
Molly
2
and the Congo.
Go. Yeah, so it was going to 2 places that are predominantly Muslim territory. And so, what an awesome way to get the gospel spread into them. And so, I don't know if y'all saw it, but a couple of the little coloring books that I put in was actually the gospel of Jesus. Did y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all have any?
I didn't see the inside of
Oh,
the
you were
boxes.
checking them and then you were scanning them. So, never mind. Y'all didn't even get to see that. But it was so cool. It's a coloring sheet that's telling the story of Jesus. That was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's going, you don't even have to speak English and you're going to get it. Isn't that
Yeah.
cool? Okay, so anyways, you did that last night. Do you have any other things?
Well, that's the second time I've been to the warehouse and going through the boxes and packing them, but literally my whole life I've always packed shoe boxes. Ever since I was a little girl, I remember going to the dollar store, Walmart, and with my mom, and me and my sister would get a box and we'd fill them up, and always doing that. So I've been doing that my whole life.
That is awesome. How many did you do this year? Because I think I heard a number.
I did 12.
You did 12.
Yeah.
Molly, have you guys ever done that? You and your family done shoe boxes?
We did them when we did Honduras here. Remember when we did that?
Yes. No.
Children-
It was Haiti.
Haiti, yes.
It was that
Yeah.
guy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Yeah,
if we
I
can
don't
say his
think we
name.
can
So
Yeah, I remember
yes.
we would always pack them in children's church. We did that my whole children's church life, and we would do some at home too. But now we try to do a lot with the DFACS kids,
Yes.
yes. Christmas stuff.
Are you guys, not to put you on the spot, but are you guys sponsoring any of the DFACS kids? Are you working the DFACS Christmas party?
I am working the DFACS party, but
It's Friday.
it is.
Yes. don't forget the 13th. Okay. Oh,
Friday the 13th.
I'm just kidding. We're not weird superstitious or anything. I just thought it was ooh, it just sounded cool. But it's gonna be a Christmas theme, so it's makes it even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So are you serving? So you're serving
I'm
there.
serving there.
And then Molly, you guys, how many kids did y'all take on?
Mama and Daddy did 3, like 1 for each of us, and then Lila did 1 herself. She got a little baby boy who was like 18 months.
Yes, oh, how fun.
We got him like all Mickey stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So there's like some cool opportunities that just these 2 girls are already like plugged in, and I love that because they're my teenagers from youth group, and they have like the most amazing heart ever. So this is so cool. All right, so you got some. You want to take away another question?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna focus on Guatemala because there's so much there. So can you give me a little history of like your granddad and going to Guatemala, and like what started that and all that stuff?
So my granddad, when he was in his 30s or 40s, probably before that, because he went on mission trips like when he was a teenager too. But he started doing like taking his own groups when like in his 30s or 40s, and so my mom would go, and they started off in Mexico and doing basically the same thing that we do in Guatemala, but in Mexico.
Which is what?
We do like it usually depends on who goes with us, but if like a doctor or a pharmacist or a nurse comes with us, we can get like prescriptions for like parasite medicine and vitamins, so like prenatal vitamins, all that stuff. And then we've recently been doing water filters because lots of people don't have clean water.
That was in there last night too. Did you see any?
I saw one of them.
I was like, that was such a good
Like
thing
the
to
straw?
put. The straws, yes. I was just like, sorry,
That's
that was
smart,
like,
especially
yes,
smart.
for there, like that. I was just like, whoa, that was actually a really good idea. Whoever did that, so it's cool they all are doing it
Because if you
here
think
too.
about it, like some of the boxes they're not going, like they're not, are they primarily like third world countries, or is it just anywhere?
It's probably third world countries, like hard to reach places all around the world.
Okay.
But even on that video, we saw they were on like a tractor going there, so there's no way there's clean water through there. So that was like an awesome thing to actually go into those boxes, but also the fact that you take them to where you're going too. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You're good. And so we do water filters, and we usually hand out parasite medicine with it, because if you do water filters and no parasite medicine, it helps the people because they're getting clean water, but almost everybody there has parasites. So like if you don't give them parasite medicine, they're still gonna have the symptoms and like still living with that, and it's not good for you.
So do y'all bring like the parasite medicine like with you from the States, or do you have to buy it down there?
I think so. I'm not really like in the medical part of it.
Really?
You can probably get it there because I think it's probably cheaper because you can walk in
and you can buy it in
there
bulk.
and just get it.
You can buy it in bulk there, and then we don't have to put it on the plane and take up a lot of space. So
and probably a customs thing too.
Yeah.
Getting stuff over the border with.
Well, that was the problem. One year they like took the medicine, and it was just like Tylenol and ibuprofen, and like they took it and would like not give it back to us. So we've partnered with a nurse down there, and she like supplies us with a lot of the medicine, and she goes to a lot of the villages and like kind of gives them like a mini like checkup visit and like see how they're doing, and then she can actually like prescribe the medicine. So like people in remote villages, they don't really have an opportunity to go to the doctor, so she can just prescribe them the medicine that they need and give it to them for a little bit.
Nice.
So we do that. We also hand out clothes and shoes and food bags and glasses. And then kind of what I do is there's a lady that comes from Mexico. Her name is, can I say people's names? Mm-hmm. Okay, her name is Marlem. Lots of people call her Marlene. It just kind of gets lost in translation. But I call her Marlem. And she's amazing with kids. Like absolutely amazing. And so what I do is I just kind of follow her around and do whatever she points for me to do, because she doesn't speak English.
Oh, okay.
And I don't really speak good Spanish, so I just go to where she points. And so I'll play with the kids, like sing with the kids and dance, and I'll pass out stuff to them and just like laugh with them and like play with them the best that I can. So that's kind of what I do. And then help like carry food bags and stuff. So that's what we do while we're down there.
So do y'all go, is it like the same village each time, or is it you jump around?
So we have like our, I guess you would call like main villages. So like ones where we've gone back for like years and years and years, and we've built a church. So we always come back to them, because our thing is like building relationships, and then we plant a church there, and then we always try to come back. So that way it's not we're just like leaving them hanging.
Mm-hmm.
But then also we go to like a few other villages just to like start branching out from the other villages that we have already planted a church in. So like I think there's 4 or 5 churches that we've like planted or helped build down there.
Wow, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So we usually go back to those villages, and then sometimes we go like even farther.
Mm-hmm.
And so like what my grandpa, like his like dream and like desire is to go to like remote villages, like where you have to walk.
It's hard
like
to get to.
Like people don't really go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wouldn't even know that they are there. So like his dream is to go there, start like bonding with these people and like giving them the food and all this stuff and having like a little service, getting them like, okay, we're used to these people, we know who they are. And then you start having like the first few Christians, and then you come back and they're like, oh my gosh, you actually care about me enough to come walk up to my village again. And then like we plant a church there. And we always come back and visit them because they're our friends now.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is awesome. And that, again, is so much about, like, how we have our church here has a connection in Honduras. Is very similar. Is building that relationship with them so that they will be open and acceptable of you coming into their village, too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some of these remote places, they're like, we don't know you, and you're a North American, so what are you doing here? You know, so they're a little taken back the fact that you showed up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it is relationships. You've got to build those and let them know that, okay, I'm here truly because I love you and not because I'm after anything from you. So that's awesome that you guys, and especially that's your grandfather's dream too. Like that's his goal, is to reach those people. Because we were in a village one time. We go to the same one as well. And we had no idea, because it looks like jungle rainforest all around it, that there was another village past there. We just saw someone walking down the road one day, and we were like, where did he come from? And the people in the village was like, oh, there's another one up in the mountains. And we were like, what? Because there's just a walking path.
Yeah.
There's no like car path. Like nobody could get up there. So it's crazy that that's like his dream. Like, I love that, because there is one more right past that. You know, there's one more
always
village.
one more. Yeah.
So why do you think you personally went to Guatemala?
Well, the first time I went, I was 9. So my mom was just like, hey, we're going to go to Guatemala on a mission trip. And I was like, okay, great.
Yes.
And so I just hopped on a plane and went, just thinking like, to my 9-year-old self, like, wow, I'm leaving the United States. This is crazy. Like, that was the only reason I was going. But now I go back because, like, those people are my friends. And, like, we've built, like, a family. And, like, it almost feels like a second home down there.
Yes.
So, like, I feel like I personally go now to, like, just keep, like, reaching out to people because it was so cool. It left such an impression on me at, like, 9 years old. Like, whoa. People do not live the way that I do, and, like, we can help them, and, like, there's always kids to play with, and, like, I've always loved playing with them and becoming friends with them, and it's, like, so great going back, like, year after year and seeing them, like, grow up and be like, oh my gosh, last year you were so much smaller, and trying to tell them that, and they just kind of, like, laugh because they have no clue what I just said.
And they're like, yeah, whatever, girl.
Yeah.
One of the craziest things for me was when we go is, like, they all look like little kids to me. And you'll go back one year, and, like, one of them is already married and has a baby.
Yes.
And you're just like, wait, you were just 5. Like, what in the world? You're like, you should not be having a baby already.
When
But
my dad went to Honduras with my uncle, they went to the place we go, and there was a picture, I think it was when Daddy was in youth or was helping with youth, and there's a picture of him holding one of the guys, I can't remember his name, I don't know if I could say it, and he was like 5 or 6, and then that was the last time my dad went, and then when I went 2 years ago, there was a picture of my dad and the boy, like, on his wall that he had kept. I know.
that.
And, like, when we met him, he was married and he had a kid and he was older. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's crazy that he's had, like, a lasting impression on you for so long.
And you kept that picture.
Yeah.
And it's on your wall. Like, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
How cool. Do you want
Yeah.
to pick you one that...
Okay, so so you just went to Guatemala.
in October. Yeah.
And you so nicely decided to stay here so you could serve here instead of in Guatemala.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's in Guatemala. So what is something that so I know, like, every time you go, I'm sure you like learn new things, or God opens your eyes to other things. So what's something that you learned on your last trip that was just new? Because, you know, I guess it could get redundant just going to the same things, like, since you were 9. But, like, what's something new that God opened your eyes to when you went in October?
I would have to say, like, just, like, over the years, you don't realize how much has changed and, like, how much of an impression, like, how much God is working. And, like, I just remember standing on top of, like, one of the pastors we partners with house, because he's building, like, a nicer house, because, I don't know why, he just wanted a different house. So, because his old house is, like, connected to the church, so he's, like, letting that be the church and, doing his own house somewhere else. And he's in the process of building it, and I remember going, and, like, the house was, like, just, like, cement walls. And now when you go, it's got, like, paint, it's got, like, roof and rooms, and, like, you can actually see it coming together. And I was just standing up there, and, like, it's got a beautiful view, like, over all of, like, Guatemala and all this stuff. And it was just, like, wow. So much has changed, and I've been a part of, like, so much of it, and I didn't even realize it. Like, it started off as we had no clue where we were. We barely knew the people down there, like, just going on, like, a wing, like, had no clue who they were. And we didn't know where we were going to go, if we were going to even come back. And then here we are, like, almost 10 years later. And, like, we're not only now in Guatemala, we're in El Salvador. We're partnered with a pastor in El Salvador, and he is... So, like, the main Christian church down there is the Church of God. And he is, like, he was over the whole Church of God in El Salvador. Like, he was on the board or something, and he was, like, the president. Now he's, like, the president of the whole Central America Church of God. Like, he is a high-up dude, and he is willing to work with, like, a mission organization that's, like, I mean, I wouldn't say we're very well known. Like, that's a lot of land, and people don't really, I don't know. I just felt like we're just, like, this little small people making, like, a little bit of difference. And then, like, one day I'm on the top of this house. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're, like, in El Salvador. We've been to Honduras. We're in, like, the whole
Guatemala. I think
like,
your grandmother said something about Mexico.
Yeah, we're in Mexico, and, like, it used to be just, like, a little part of Guatemala. Now we're over the whole country, and, like, it's just, like, wow.
Like, little people from Pike County, Georgia.
Yes,
you know, like, isn't that so cool?
That's who we are.
Yes.
And, like, God has used us so much down there, and, like, it's, like, one day I just opened my eyes, I was like, wow, that's actually crazy, God.
Like, we did this. Like,
and you let me be a part of it? Thank you.
Yes, like, I know, such a, like, we kind of forget that part sometimes. Like, that's a huge blessing that we get to be a part of his plan and his purpose, and we get to be the people that go out and do this. Like, we go and share the gospel to people. Like, that is one of the coolest things ever. Like, what an awesome opportunity. And he chose, like, us, like the three of us, to go do something great. Like, how cool is that? Okay, so next question. Has going on mission trips made you more willing to serve in your own community? Because, like, you know, people are always like, oh, why are you going overseas when there's so much to do here? Or, you know, we got that question a lot with adoption. Why are you adopting over here when there's, like, so many kids here? But like, we've already talked about some of the things that we've done here. But do you think seeing and doing certain things in Guatemala that you've been able to come back and you're like, wait, we can do that right here, right in the city here or in the state here? Has that ever come up in your mind?
I would say, like, not necessarily, like, the same, like, thing that we do, because, like kind of where we live, there's not a whole lot of people who, like, yes, they need clothes and they need food and they need water, but it's also not the same, like, amount of need as, like, a whole country full of people.
Right.
So, but, like, what I've learned is like still like your time, like serving your time, and how much like down there we go for like a week or two. Here, like you can just do like 3 hours of like work. Like when the tornadoes came through Griffin, and like we went and helped those people in the apartments. Like that's just crazy, and I feel like since I've been going on mission trips from like a young age, and like every year, it's just like my mind is already set on like, oh, you need my help for only a few hours? Sure, I'll go help you. Like, oh, their house is blew down. That's horrible. I know people who don't even have houses. Yes, I'm gonna come help you.
Yes.
And so I feel like because I went at such a young age, and because I keep going, it's like always on my mind, like, oh yeah, you only need me for a few hours or like a day or two. Yeah, I'm totally free to come help you or come serve or do Operation Christmas Child for 4 hours. Like, I just feel like it's already like yeah, why not?
Yes, like you're being willing, but then also like I feel like this is kind of where you were going to, with you've seen the needs there, and so your eyes are really open to them here because you've seen extreme. Like, so when you said that, I immediately thought when I was on a mission trip, we went out and did like a feeding to the community. Like we did because food is like hard to come by really for some of these areas. And so like we made like, well, sorry, we didn't make it. Somebody made all this rice, and then I was in the Philippines. We did this serving thing. So somebody made a whole bunch of rice, and then they put like meat, and like it has a lot of sauce on it. So I would say equivalent to spaghetti, like that style, but it wasn't. It was Filipino style. And so we went out and we served it, and people were just coming up with plates, just empty plates. One kid came up with like I want to say a Ziploc bag, but it was not. It didn't have a Ziploc on it. We literally got that same opportunity for the the tornadoes that came through. Sorry, we just had some hurricane comes through too. But we were able to, like, I baked 30 pans of baked spaghetti, and we took it out and fed people. Like, we don't get that opportunity very much. So it's almost like God took something that just naturally happened with the tornadoes coming through. Like, that's just a weather thing, and allowed us to do something really good with it too. Like, we went out and fed the people because they didn't have any kitchens. I mean, half those people didn't even have a roof. There was tree through like a window. Did you go on that?
Mm-mm.
Where were you at?
I don't remember.
This was last January. Why you not serve with us?
I don't know.
Girl.
I don't remember though.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the picture and see. Because if she was there, I would have thought you would have been there.
I know I wasn't there, and I remember y'all going, but I don't remember why I wasn't there.
Maybe you was eating at grandmama's.
Maybe.
It was probably meatloaf.
Maybe.
I always want her grandmother's meatloaf. Hadn't got any yet though. She hasn't served me.
Maybe you should send her the podcast.
Yes, we can bring grandma on the podcast for talk about her meatloaf. She can give the recipe for it. Yes, and we can serve all y'all meatloaf. That'd be great.
For sure.
Our whole eight fans.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, sorry. Do you have more?
Yeah. Okay, so what has been the hardest part about serving in Guatemala?
I would definitely say like the traveling, because like we're going all over the country, and the country's only the size of Georgia, but it's like mountain-ish, like jungle mountain roads with like speed bumps, potholes, and it's just like a lot of traveling, and it's like, gosh, I really just want to be sitting right now in like air conditioning, because it's like 90 degrees there all the time.
There ain't no air conditioning there.
No, there is not. It's like, I just want to sit down with my air conditioning and like be totally okay. But it's like, I gotta push through that and be like, these people will probably never have air conditioning, so like you can suck it up for a weekend, go. And so every time it's just like, okay, I know it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be hot, I'm gonna be tired, and I'm probably gonna be a little cranky, but it's gonna be totally okay, because like I'm serving people who literally have to live in this all the time.
Yeah.
So like I get to go back to the United States and eat Chick-fil-A on the way home. Like I can go get Chick-fil-A whenever I want to, except for Sundays. But it's like and I just have to tell myself, you have so many more opportunities than these people, so you should just give your time now, because like these people will never have the opportunities that you have.
Right.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, you'll never get them, but
Yeah.
they might one day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
So just the travel of getting to the village.
and the late nights and the time change, and it's just like a lot. And especially like my mom and sister and grandpa are there now. We went from like 20 degrees and they're in like 90 degrees humidity, and it's like weather change, and like you're flying and driving, and it's just
and you
like
just hope I hope they're not getting sick or anything either, because that is quite a difference in the weather too.
So it's just like a big like weather change, and like just a whole lot of driving, and just a lot, but it's all worth it.
It's all the travel of just getting there can be hard. What is something big that you've seen happen in Guatemala? Have you seen, like, has the government been more open to letting you guys come and do what you want? Have you seen them? I don't like to say, have you seen a miracle? I don't like it like that, but I'm wondering if, like, the question was kind of, was it going, like, have you seen something cool, like, amazing? Okay.
Maybe, or like a revival, like, what's something?
Yes. When I say miracle, I think we see miracles every day, and we kind of forget that those are miracles, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you can even think back to something that you saw that, like, stuck out to you. But have you seen something, like, just absolutely amazing happen that you're just like, I'll never forget this?
Yes. So I have 2. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I have 2 stories.
Hey, you can have 17.
Okay. So the first one is no matter where we go, like we could have, well, actually it's part of another, I actually have like 3 stories. It's part of another story, but like no matter where we go, police will stop you, and you're in a van of a bunch of white people, like
That's
like
absolutely terrifying.
you stick out like a sore thumb, and
my
every
God.
And then you got, like, all these weird things in your car.
Yes.
Medications.
Do they
and
have guns?
yes, like
They have
massive
huge
machine guns.
I was
Yes.
terrified. We got stopped one time in Honduras, and I was like, oh my gosh, are they about to shoot us? What is going on? Because they ain't got big guns like that here. I haven't seen that anywhere. It was scary.
I know, but every time it's like the pastors that we work with, they always talk to them and they're whatever, and we always drive through and they're like, oh, I know their grandma, they go to church down at a village we go to. I'm always like, what? So like we're always in like these, I guess, like scary situations where like, oh gosh, there's these people that could definitely kick us out of the country right now, or
And then you know them.
and
then, like, there's a personal connection
or
there.
they're like a Christian, and they're like,
And so then they're like,
okay.
thank you for being here. Keep going.
Yes, they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to help people? Yes, please go. Like, instead, like, my mind always goes to, oh my gosh, they're going to ask us for, like, all our
They're gonna
money.
take us.
They're going to shoot us. And, oh, this is the last time I'm ever going to see people. But no, they're always like, oh, praise Jesus, keep going. And we're like, oh, thanks. Ooh.
Aww.
So I would say it's always a miracle. Because, like,
Mhm.
you never know who you're going to get. And they also have a massive gun, so they could just shoot you.
Yes.
So true.
This is true.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's happened to anyone yet, but
No.
not sure. Not sure. That's for sure.
The second miracle is, so 2021, we went in March, and so we got the right, or we thought we got the right COVID test, and we apparently didn't. Like, it allowed us to get on the plane and out of the United States, but apparently El Salvador, because we fly into El Salvador, apparently they do not accept that type of COVID test that we took,
Mhm.
and they wouldn't let us in the country, but they would let my grandpa in the country because he took a different one. So me and my mom, they would not let us out of El Salvador, and we weren't just going to go back home. So they were like, my mom was like, you're going to tell us how we're going to get here, and we're going to get there, we're not going back home, and yeah. So they found us a flight to Honduras, and they're like, it's going to leave in like 2 hours, you're going to be totally okay. We're like, okay, we can wait in the airport for 2 hours, it's fine.
Mhm.
How many? 9 hours pass. The flight didn't leave until like 9:30 or 10 that night. We were in the airport for 9
Are you on
hours.
Spirit Airline?
No, we were on Delta.
Okay. Oh.
And then we had to fly Avianca to
Mhm.
from El Salvador to Honduras. So 2 white ladies in the middle of the night are flying to Honduras.
Yeah.
We get off the
That's
plane.
not shady at all.
We get off the plane, and the whole time the plane is like shaking. Like, I'm like, dear
Just get
Lord,
me there.
please. So we get there. We don't even get off on one of those. You know how the walkway connects?
Yeah, you
to
get off on
plane?
the runway
We get
with
off on the
stairs.
runway with the stairs,
Yes.
and we walk in the basement of the Honduras
Yeah.
airport. We had never been there before. We can't speak Spanish.
Yeah, that's how it
And
goes.
In the middle of the night, like midnight, there was nobody else there except for a bunch of Hispanic men, and I was like, "Oh Lord, this is gonna
Get
be."
us inside.
I knew we were gonna be okay, but golly, it was scary. So we get through everything, and this really nice guy turned out to not be a total creep. He could tell that we had no clue what we were doing because we were just trying to like watch people, like what are they asking them for, like the little like customs thing. We were like, do we need a passport?
Can
We're,
your
like, trying
mom
to-
speak Spanish?
No.
Oh.
So we were trying to like
Oh.
stare at people, like what are they doing? Like what do we need to do? And so he could tell that we had absolutely no clue what we were doing. So he tried to help us, and so my mom's kind of like a little concerned about it because like why are you
being so?
helping us? Like why? Is it because you love Jesus or because like you want to kidnap us? So he helps us and get through customs and all that stuff. And so we're like, can we go get a hotel? And he's like, there's no hotels here. The airport's not in the city. And we're like, what? He's like, you're 20 miles from anywhere. And we were like, nuh-uh. So we walk outside the airport.
The
It's
Honduran
pitch,
tells you you're 20 miles from nowhere, and you're like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's one close.
we walk out of the airport, and it is pitch black. There's no lights, no nothing. And we're like, oh my gosh, we really are.
Yes.
And so poor guy is trying so hard to be like, I own a taxi company. We can take you to
Oh,
an
it gets
to
even
a hotel.
scarier.
And we were like, we can't do that. I'm sorry. Like my dad, my mom's like my husband. Like he would not want me to do this. Like that's. I want you to know in the United States you don't do this type of stuff. It's like I understand. I completely understand. But like I can help you. And I was like I just can't. And so we get in some random taxi driver, and it's just a car, just a complete car. Like, and there's just no taxi named or nothing. We just hop in this random stranger's car, and we start driving along San Pedro Sula, and 20 minutes later, we're in the city, and we're like, oh, thank goodness, we're in the city. We're going to be okay. It's going to be totally fine. And we pass by all these really nice hotels, like 5-star hotels. They're like lights, pools. We can pass by them. It's like 12 stories high. We're like, oh, we're totally okay. So finally, I was like, yes. We're safe. Turns down an alley. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Where to now?
There's the hotels. We're gone. Well, it turns out our hotel was just down an alley. And of course, it was
And it was
dark and
fine.
scary
No.
in the middle of the night.
Like
but-
the hotel was good?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
really nice. But we saw these really nice hotels. We're like, that must be it. That must be it. Nope. He turns down this dark alley, like murder, like an alley you'd be murdered in. But that's just where our hotel was at.
I'm glad you're here with us today.
Me too. So, needless to say, that was a miracle that we were not like kidnapped or like left there. So we're still here.
Yes, I'm so
That
glad.
whole thing, and then that's not even the whole story. So my pop and the pastors drove to Guatemala to drop off all the stuff, and then they were gonna drive to Honduras, and it was only supposed to be like a few hours. You know, it's just you just hop along 10 hours. They had to drive 10 hours to get to
Well,
Honduras.
when your whole car fits inside of a pothole, you should have known it was going to take. It was going to take a long time.
It took
I can't
them
believe they drove
10
that far.
hours. Well, they go to cross the border. The border's closed because it's the middle of the night. So they cross the border illegally. Like my grandpa's passport was not stamped. He is in Honduras completely illegally. And it turns out the pastor who was driving the car didn't have his driver's license. So he's completely illegal also. In the
Wow.
middle of the night of Honduras. But the person that let him through, like the little guard, was like, they knew each other. Like they were a Christian and like they knew each other. So they were like, oh yeah, you can cross the border. So my grandpa crosses the border to come get us in the middle of the night. And so in the morning we're like, oh, we're good. And then my grandpa and like the pastor's like, we're here illegally. Like
We gotta
really
go.
illegal. We gotta really go. So they're like, we don't know if they're gonna stop us at the border. Like we we might have to talk to some people, since it's like, oh my gosh, we get to the border and it's like, they're not supposed to be here. They've been here for hours and they're not supposed to be in this country. They just let them on through.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So the whole
So there's
thing,
no proof that he went to Honduras,
None.
but he visited. He didn't even get the stamp.
nope, he
That's
did
like
not.
one of the most important parts to me is getting the stamp.
Mhm.
Just so I can be like, look where I've been. You know?
He didn't even get that. He was not supposed to be there. So he was never in Honduras that night. And so that was just a completely crazy mess.
That is a complete miracle that you guys were fine and that your grandfather came in, was able to get you back to Guatemala. Like, wow, that's a trip that had a purpose and a meaning to it, like for sure. On that one. Wow.
I have one more, but it's shorter than that one, so it won't be as long.
Okay, what you got?
So the first time I went, I was 9, and I had a disease, an intestinal disease called C. diff. So basically, I had.
We know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
We do?
Your girl do over here.
Oh.
I had strep throat, and they gave me antibiotics, and it killed all the bacteria in my gut.
You got it that way.
All
Okay.
of it.
I adopted a kid from a third world country that had parasites and C. diff. So I thought you got it that way.
No.
You drank the water. You drank the water.
No,
Number
I
one rule:
didn't.
don't drink the water.
No.
Okay, go
I
ahead,
had
sorry.
strep throat. They gave me antibiotics. It killed all the bacteria in my gut. So I had no good bacteria in my gut, and basically the disease just kind of eats your intestine wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had been taking me to the doctor, and it wasn't getting better.
Fix your face.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
I know, it was really bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. I was just living my 9-year-old self.
So how did you get it?
With diarrhea.
I had no.
Sorry. She just told you how she got it. She was on antibiotics for strep, and it eats all the good bacteria in your body that
Mhm.
takes
I had
out.
no bacteria.
Oh,
in
I
my
thought
gut.
you meant they gave you medicine for having that C disease thing.
C. diff.
No,
C. diff.
taking the
Oh.
medicine gave me the C. diff.
Uh-huh.
And
It's
so,
a whole nother protocol on fixing that.
Oh,
there is,
gosh.
and it's awful. And so when you're a kid, you're supposed to just sort of kind of get over it. It's not as bad in kids as it is in adults. Well, I was not getting over it. And so I was about to have this really nasty surgery thing that I will not go into. But I went to Guatemala, and they were having this prayer meeting, and I had never heard people pray like that before, out loud in different languages and all this stuff. Because I came from a Baptist church, and we keep our hands down and we don't do nothing. You don't pray out loud, you just sit there. And so my mom was she has C. diff, and my little kid brain was yeah, I do, so what?
And they all run from you. They're like, we don't want it.
Is it contagious? Oh, okay.
So they sit me down in this chair, and my grandpa just looks at me and he goes, Avery, we're going to put our hands on you, and we're going to pray out loud, and it's going to be totally okay. And I was like, okay. So all these people start putting their hands on me, and they're praying in this prayer group of 30 people in 2 different languages, maybe 3, and they're just all praying over me, and I'm do I close my eyes, do I bow my head, all this stuff. I'm just sitting there because I don't know what to do.
First time.
And so go back home, and we go to the last doctor's appointment before my mom has to make the decision of if I'm going to get the surgery or not. And I came back home, and I had no more C. diff. It was completely gone. They
That
prayed over me, and it
awesome.
left. And I still don't have it.
That is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
How
Wow.
sweet. And it was your first experience of someone truly praying over you and laying hands on you too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So I always remember that. It's
You
my
came
little-
back without a parasite.
Yeah.
That's a
That's my
big
little
accomplishment
miracle.
too.
Yeah. That's my little miracle.
Yes. Oh, I
I'll
love
always
it. That's
remember that.
awesome. Those are sweet memories to, and don't ever forget those. Hold on to those really tight because those are good parts about your trip and how you just touch people and some of them you were blessed more than
Yeah. And
truly
now
being
I know,
a blessing to people there.
yeah.
You got
And
healed
now I
from
know the
C. diff.
power of prayer. So whenever we pray for people, I'm
And we always pray first because that's my book I'm reading I'm almost done with my book, guys. I keep saying that every week. Almost done with it now, though. Just have to have time to read it. But always pray first. We just want to tell you that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Just don't forget.
Oh.
First thing in the morning, last thing before you go to sleep. Got it?
Got it.
Don't
Yes,
forget.
ma'am.
All right. Anything else for our friend Avery? Are
I don't
we
think so.
good to go?
Do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
And was I supposed to?
No.
Okay,
Just in
great.
case
It
you
was
wanna add anything
so
else.
great to have you on today, though. I'm like
was.
so glad you made time to come and hang out with us for
Yeah.
just a little bit because we know like you have a busy world and I think you're going to see Christmas lights, but thankfully it's still light outside, so we didn't take up too much of your time
Yeah.
tonight. All right, Mo, it's
Okay.
you. Take it away.
All right. Thanks, guys, so much for listening to Godly Giggles with Steve and Mo. We hope you have a great week, and make sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram and Spotify and Facebook.
Yes.
And don't forget, all of our episodes come out every Monday. And next week we'll have another special guest too. It's gonna be super cool. You would think after like 8 times of saying this, I would have it nailed down, but I forget.
She still
every single time,
stumbles
so.
every time. All right, so
See you guys
Bye.
later. Bye.